Welcome to another episode of the Limitless Life podcast. I am your host, Kyle Smith. And if you have not done so, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss another podcast episode. And if you love this podcast and want some more tips and tricks on how to improve yourself, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. There are a ton of instructional videos there. You can find the link below. Today on this beautiful Thursday morning, the temperatures are actually above 0 degrees Celsius, so I'm quite stoked. Today, I have Erin McDermott as my guest. Erin was a registered nurse in the state of Massachusetts for 25 years, but she left in 2020 to open her own fitness studio with her husband, Sean. She then started an online fitness coaching coaching program where she helps ladies over the age of 40 get bikini ready and have a professional photo shoot. Erin, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So how are things on your end? How's life?
Life is beautiful and amazing. Every day I wake up grateful.
Beautiful. So why do you have a practice of gratitude? Why are you grateful every morning?
Because I appreciate my life. I appreciate the things I have. And the more grateful you are, the more gratitude you get back. The more happiness you will attract and the more happy people will come to you.
I love that. So were you always a grateful person?
Yes.
Yeah. So you've always
been.
Go ahead.
I've always been a happy, grateful person. Every day I put 2 feet on the ground. I am grateful. If you can't think of anything you're grateful for, look at your hands. You've got 10 fingers and hands that work beautifully. You can see, you can hear, you can talk, you can touch, you can feel. There's so much to be grateful for if you're having a bad day. I always say, if I'm having a bad day, let's think of 5 things I'm grateful for. And I can look out the window and I can say, look at those beautiful trees. Look at the beautiful sky. The sun is here. I'm so grateful. And I just say, thank you. Thank you, universe, or thank you, God, whatever it is that you want to honor. Think of 5 things in that moment and it will change your mindset instantly.
That's beautiful. So let's say, for example, someone has not practiced gratitude or is unfamiliar with the process of practicing gratitude. How about would you help someone adopt a grateful or abundant mindset?
I like to starting with themselves. And you can just say, I am grateful. I am grateful. And just keep saying that. And then send it out to your friends. I am grateful for my friend. I am grateful for my husband. And the more you practice that every day, you're going to exude a grateful attitude and happiness. And that will just bring more gratitude and happiness into your life.
I like that. What's something that you're especially grateful for today?
Every day, I'm grateful that I get to put 2 feet on the floor. And comes across weird, but I love me. I love who I am. I love who I'm becoming. I love my physical body because I am capable. I work out 6 days a week. I'm 52 years old. You can put me next to a 30-year-old and there's going to still be some severe competition. I am grateful for who I am. I am grateful for my awareness. I am grateful for my wisdom. I am grateful for all the lessons that I've learned to bring me to this point today to make me this amazing person that I am right now. And I'm grateful that I get to influence people to live their full potential.
That's amazing. Where have you found, or when you get people to live up to their full potential or live their full potential, how best do you go about that?
Well, I can just give you an example that I worked with one of my clients. She's 53 years old and she was not feeling good about her body. She said she had tried so many different things. And she actually told me she felt suicidal. And I never, ever want anyone to feel that way. But sometimes women are so much pressure on themselves when they look in the mirror and they're not happy with themselves. It makes them feel really bad. But she trained with me 3 days a week and I pumped her up every single time I was with her. You're amazing. You look amazing. You're doing awesome. She shredded down. She stepped on stage. She won first place. and she has changed her complete life. She is now a certified spin instructor. She wants to help other women do the same thing. And I spent a whole year with her, and she was so grateful for me, just, being her support system, telling her how amazing she actually is. Luckily, she doesn't feel sad anymore, and she has a brand new life.
That's amazing. What were some of the struggles that she went through in that year, in that time of growth?
The food.
Fair enough.
The food was really tough for her because, you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. She had to give up her alcohol, and she's Italian, and she had to give up the pizza, and that was really challenging. But she did it, and she just changed her life, and she's an amazing, beautiful woman.
There was something we were chatting about pre-show about responsibility and how you're a catalyst. You're responsible for your ladies' change. But who, at the end of the day, is responsible for the change of themselves?
Yes, she 150% was responsible for her actions that she took and made her body different, made her attitude different. I just provided her the map, and she happened to be the one that was going to follow through. She had to wake up at 5 a.m. I didn't. She had to work out. I didn't work out for her, and she get the 6-pack, right? I didn't eat clean, and all of a sudden she lost weight. She had to do all that incredible, really challenging work, but she was the one who did it. And you're 100% right. She's responsible for that.
So at what point in your life do you find that you took that same responsibility from the health standpoint? So I imagine that her changes could possibly, in a way, or at least from a mental standpoint, reflect the changes that you've experienced. What were your changes? Where were you at before? Where are you at now?
Well, I've always been fit. And, some people can't relate to me because of that. And that's been really hard challenge for me. And some people can be intimidated by a fit and strong female. But I think being a nurse for so many years, I have to tell you that if you don't take full responsibility for your health, you are going to end up very, very sick.
That makes total sense. So at what point do you think people feel comfortable asking for help?
That's a good question. I think when they have a moment when they're just ready. They have to be ready. I want to help females. I want them to feel and look amazing. So I always put that information out there, but I can't help them if they're not committed and if they're not ready and willing to do the work. All I can do is put out the information, and when they have a moment of clarity, and I don't know when that is going to be for people, sometimes it's a divorce, sometimes it's a traumatic experience, sometimes they get ill, and then they want to change their lives. It is just completely individual. Some people just have a moment of clarity and they need to change their lives. And I think that I work with a lot of females who go through a traumatic divorce and get to the point like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that for somebody all those years and lost myself. And now we got to get back there. Now I need to change like I always wanted to do, but they didn't listen to that inner voice for many, many years. And so now we got work to do.
No, that's totally fair. So something I think is really cool that we were chatting about pre-show is, or it wasn't cool, but an interesting little observation I had is how you go about each day with max gratitude, where immediately feet on the floor, gratitude. Something we were chatting about pre-show is how your husband, Sean, has cancer as well, right? And neither of you view the cancer as bad. And that really stuck out to me because we clearly, there's more reasons to view it as a negative than not quite a positive, but to shine a bad light on it than how you two are being. Can you dive into that? How is it that you practice gratitude while Sean is going through something that some people would really struggle with? What's that look like?
It makes you rethink your world. It makes you view the world differently. It makes you not be so petty. So you have to wake up with gratitude, because at any point in time, his life could be taken away from me. So I immediately changed my mind. All right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna be grateful. We're gonna spend more time in nature, more time with our children, rethink our lives, what's more important to us. And you just have a completely different viewpoint of when you have a loved one who has a chronic illness or a life-threatening illness. But I also view it as an opportunity for me to help him and us come together even more as a couple. Because they're just, when you're married for so long, things can get kind of, up and down and up and down. But now we have this opportunity to either respond in an appropriate, positive manner or respond in a depressed manner. And we have never once been depressed about it. Ever, ever, ever. We just know what we have to do, and we do that. And I think that's the other reason why he's doing so amazing, because he has a positive attitude, and we've discovered other alternative ways to help the body, which I'm so grateful for, because I would never have known any of these things if he didn't have cancer. We learned so much about food, about nutrition, just say about, infrared saunas, all these different things I would never have had the opportunity to know and learn if he didn't have cancer. And I wouldn't have met all the amazing people that we've met along the way.
I really like that, because I like how you experienced something or experienced a moment and you went towards engaging and participating in the progress towards resolving it, or just creating a better situation, compared to the opposite direction, where it could be the opposite direction, where you could be just sitting in your own suffering and stewing on the shittiness, right? And I think something that's cool that you mentioned is how you started meeting more people when you two decided to go down the route of curiosity, just making a better situation out of a very difficult one, which is amazing already. Did you have any resistance to going down that route, to engaging in that curiosity, or even asking for help, for example?
Yeah, so when he initially got diagnosed, that was 4 years ago, and he couldn't work. And we were paycheck by paycheck. So, and then I was a nurse, but I couldn't cover all the expenses because we just lost his income. So it was so challenging for me to ask for financial help from people. And I honestly never, ever want to get to that point where I need to ask for financial help. But we did, and we did get the help we needed. And I look at that as, okay, so it's kind of my fault that we shouldn't get to the point where we have to ask for financial help, right? I take responsibility for that, but he did have an illness that he couldn't work, and we had to go through our savings and still pay our bills. So it's just really about, how are you going to respond to a challenging situation? And I always tell my boys, because they're 10 and 13, when they get into an argument, I say, all right, you're going to be successful depending on how you respond to the negative situation. You can get angry at your brother because he pissed you off for some reason, and you can go and get real pissed off, or you can be the bigger person and the smarter person and walk away. And learn from those observations and learns from those lessons.
No, that's good. How do you instill that into such young boys? Because I recall myself at around those ages, and there was a lot less responsive decision making, and yeah. So how is it that, like, as a mom, how is it that you like start implanting that? Is it similar to coaching a client, or do you go about it a different way?
No, I mean, it's day to day. I let them be who they truly are. I think that's so important, and I don't get in the way of that. And then I keep talking to them. It's so important to talk to them. When I grew up, or probably when most people grew up my age, I'm 52, our parents weren't really educated on the importance of having a connection with your kids.
Mhm.
My dad worked 9 to 5. My mom was laid back and laissez-faire. So you just have to keep talking to your children. Why is my battery save on? Sorry.
All good.
Can I just check this 1 minute? All right.
Yep.
Consider plugging in. I just have to plug in. Hold on 1 minute. Sorry.
All good. For those of you that are listening in audio only, Erin will be right back. For those of you that are listening on the Facebook Live, thank you very much for being
All
here.
right. Sorry about that.
She's back. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so how is it that you go about teaching that to such young folks?
Yeah. So my boys, like I said, I'm there for them when they get in, either verbal altercations. They don't get in physical altercations that often. And, I keep talking to them. I don't get angry at them. I talk to them like a normal human being, and we have conversations.
Nice. So I find that gratitude and love often go hand in hand. You got the gratitude practice. You have a very positive outlook on very difficult situations. I think that is absolutely phenomenal. You have a great, in my opinion, I think that teaching such young kids critical thinking and how to be
Right,
responsive rather than reactive is very, very powerful. So what role does love play in building, creating, and developing in your life?
It's everything. Love is everything. I mean, I'm in love every day. Because I have a grateful heart. I feel love in my heart every single day. So when I look at my kids, I'm like, how did I get so lucky? How did I get so lucky to have 2 amazing children? How did I get so lucky to have the health that I have? How did I get so lucky to be able to be a business owner and help other people? How did I get so lucky that I get to drive a car back and forth every day? How did I get so lucky that I live in a house with a roof over my head every day? So that is a loving gratitude heart. And I don't know that I was born that way, but that's just how I feel every day now.
I think that's really cool. So before we were chatting about stubbornness towards asking for help, right? And you were telling, this is going to be without context, it's just like a funny conversation now. But you were telling me about your pregnancy. And I think a line that you said that really stuck out, because you mentioned, obviously it's a pivotal moment, but I think this sentence is really powerful, where you said to Sean that you don't want to be the hero anymore.
Right.
And I find that to be a very powerful statement, where it's like you're just relinquishing a little bit of the control in order to be able to bring in that help, to be able to like really progress. I would say it's not only for the pregnancy, but I think there could be some sort of component where it took you into the future, right?
Right.
Do you think do you think that you struggled with wanting to be the hero before that
Yes.
point? Yeah.
Yes.
Was it something that was it the chance of the pregnancy that was required for that shift? Or do you think people can choose to not be the hero for others in that moment?
Oh, you could definitely choose.
Yeah.
So let me just let the viewers understand that I have had 3 children, absolutely no medication, no C-sections, completely natural birth. The only thing I regret about my last one is that I didn't have them at home, which I really wish I did. But if there's people listening that have never had a baby before and is going through labor, and I don't want to scare anybody, but I'm just going to be 100% clear and honest with this. Okay. Picture yourself, somebody driving you to the top of an ice mountain. They get out of the car, then they strap you down on top of the truck and they just push you down the mountain. It is that traumatic going through labor. and that painful and that scary and that unknowing of like, am I going to die? Am I going to die? Because this is horrible. But, you know, when you think about this, obviously, how many people live on Earth that's been millions and millions of pregnancies, right? That we're all alive and well. But I got to the point, because I'm so about natural health and natural healing, that I was in the hospital and, you know, trying to push the baby out. And I just said to my husband, I don't want to be the hero anymore. And it just came out. And I don't know where that came from. I don't know why it came out. But in that moment, I was exhausted, dead tired. And I was just ready to relinquish control. You know, I was like, I just can't do this anymore. Of course, I had the natural pregnancy, which is what I wanted. But it was just so interesting that apparently I have, you know, I think that I'm trying to be the hero, trying to do everything so natural and holistic, that really it's just like, it's putting a lot of pressure on me, you know, and I have to let go of a little bit of control there. So that was a big learning moment.
How is that learning moment seeped into the rest of your life? So it could be like business wise, workout wise.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's interesting about being a business owner, that you learn so much about yourself, because you have to deal with people, right? Mm-hmm. You have to deal with people, and some people might not like you. Some people might not like your way of being. Some people might not like the way you look. Who knows? But I've learned to let go and surrender to that, because that's really challenging every day of our lives when we meet somebody who might not want to be around us or might not like us. You just have to surrender, let go of that control, and understand that that's okay. And it might continue to happen, and that's all right.
I love that. Yeah, I could not agree more. There's definitely, when there's less resistance, things just move smoother.
Right.
So when there's like that surrender, or there's like the story, there's like the idea, the analogy where there's a river that's just going, and there's people that'll try to swim against the river. There's people that'll hold on to a boulder for dear life and try to stay in the same spot. And then there's also people that'll swim along with the current and just kind of go with the flow. And I find that being able to go with the flow rather than holding on to a log or a boulder or trying to swim against the stream, I find that things, like there's that smoothness, there's that flow, that things, there's less just mental barriers, blocks, and there's more opportunities that kind of happen from that point. I think it's really cool.
So that reminds me, like, see, my husband, he had a really tough February. So there was a few weeks where I had to take over his clients. Me and him are complete opposite. He loves the hand-holding people. He loves the needy people. I do not do well with those people. I do well with people who know how to exercise, want to get pushed and push hard. So I had to take over for a few of his clients, and one was female. Well, I trained her 3 times. She quit because she didn't like me. She didn't like my style of training. She said, I'm not coming back, you know, and I have to understand that this is an opportunity for me to grow and to learn and not be angry or upset, because owning a business and working with people is going to bring out your strengths and your weaknesses. And then somebody might come into your life to show you your strength and show you your weaknesses, and then just going to go away. And then you're left with, okay, that didn't feel right. How do I deal with this now? Am I going to get angry, upset, and sit and sulk? Or am I going to take this lesson and learn from it so that I can be a better person moving forward? And that is the opportunity that I'm doing with this woman who literally quit because she didn't like me and she didn't like my style of training. That I say, okay, I'm okay with that. Not everybody's going to love me, and I'm okay with that.
That's fair. So in that, you mentioned the weaknesses. What are the weaknesses that you recognized in yourself with that experience, and how is it that you are going about improving them?
So I expect a lot from people. I expect people to put in the work. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm a tough coach, and if they don't put in the work, I'm going to be blunt and tell them. Mm-hmm. But I have to understand that for some people, they don't like blunt. And then I have to maybe take a different approach, which is challenging for me because I'm just not educated, or I don't have that learning yet on how to approach somebody who doesn't like the blunt approach. So could you look at that as a weakness? Yes. But then you could look at it as a strength because I'm learning from my weakness, and my weakness eventually could become my strength, right?
Mhm.
Because it's all about learning, reassessing as you're going through life. That's really what it is. You have to learn and constantly observe yourself so that you can become better every single day.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. That's really insightful. You've been having a couple of really good, insightful like tangents on that one. I think how you speak, and this is just something I recognize, so I'm just going to talk about, but I like how you provide context in the person that you are currently, then you provide context of the situation, so the client, and then I love how you acknowledged we'll say like weaknesses. I wouldn't say it's a weakness because you're totally right. Like you can take that and improve it. So it's just like you have the bluntness. Now it's just developing the peopleness. Some people are the opposite. So it'd be like your husband would be the opposite. He has the peopleness, but he has to develop the bluntness. So it's just skill acquisition, right?
Yes,
It's just skills.
it's so true.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think it's you're articulating it very well. I just wanted to like take a second. I was like, oh, that's really good. Yeah. So with yeah, I'm definitely still curious about the what is it that you're learning from that situation? What is it that you're trying to take on from like a coaching perspective and a self-betterment? Like what's the characteristics, traits, tactics? What have you been learning recently to kind of
I think
get
that,
going?
because we've been business owners for a year and a half. We made the mistake of giving her to me to train.
Fair.
Because she's not my person. She's
Mm.
not the type of person I want to train, and that's okay. So we made that mistake of allowing me to train her, but we thought, all right, he's going to be out for a little bit. We don't want to lose our client, right? So let me train her. But it was not a good situation because we had to put her in a group. I thought she knew what she was doing, so I didn't really give her direction. And my husband is a hand holder. So he holds a hand no matter how long they've been training for. And I don't do that. I'm there for you. If you need me, if you're doing something wrong, I'll tell you. But again, it's just all learning. I'm learning about myself through this business ownership. You really learn a lot about yourself, and you have to, I'm in the community now. So I don't know what she's going to say about me or about us, but I have to let that go and say it's okay, because I want people who love me to work with me. I want people who respect me to work for me. But after that situation, I became more caring, more compassionate, more understanding. I had to take a step back, and was there something I could have done better as just a human being with another human being? And I'm sure, looking back, I could have done a little better. I could have been more of a handholder toward her, even though that's not my style. But maybe she needed that in the moment, and I knew that, but it's just not who I am. And that's okay too. So just always recognizing and reassessing and readjusting as I'm going on in this journey of we call life, right?
Yeah. Something I found, because I'm really blunt with like just direction too. And something I found that's helped me categorize, like it's helped me figure out who I need to show up in that moment with that person. And if I'm unsure, I automatically go to solutions. Like I'm solutions oriented. I'm like, oh, this is a problem. Here's the solution. Execute. Solution or problem, solution, execute. But what I've been utilizing, or a tactic that I've been doing more often is, and this isn't even for coaching, I actually started with my girlfriend, Kendra. Like sometimes you're just unsure whether it's solutions or support. Right. And I found myself asking, if I was unsure, I'm like, do you need supportive Kyle or solutions Kyle? And then I could choose, okay, so I get to be blunt or I get to be the people person. Like I get to
Oh,
choose,
yeah,
I get to
that's
have
good.
that expectation, that
Right.
idea dialed in. So I know exactly which style to show up for in that moment.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
So it could be helpful for yourself as well. Maybe not. Could be good.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. And then I can't also lose who I am.
Mhm.
You know,
Well,
if I am just a blunt person naturally, and that has helped people in the past, people have thanked me for my honesty, my truth, and my way of being. And
mhm.
some people just don't like it at all, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And so, like, I have to choose, you're right. How am I going to show up with each person without taking my authenticity away? Right?
Yeah, because you can still have bluntness and compassion at the same time. You don't have to have one
Exactly.
or the
Yes.
other. Yeah,
Right.
it's pretty cool. So what is it that you want for the future? What is it that you want for your future clients and your life as a whole? What's your vision?
My vision for, my female clients is to be who they truly are. Because it's scary in this world to be who you truly are, because we're not taught that. We're not taught to be powerful, show our light. We're really taught to just stay in the matrix and just follow along with it. Work your 9 to 5 job. Don't think outside the box, lose your creativity. And then you get to this point in my age, if you've done that your whole life, you look at yourself like, oh my gosh, what has happened to me? My female clients, they're overweight, they're underfed, undernourished, and now we have to fix that.
Oh,
But
fair enough.
I want them to know that you have to be who you truly are under all circumstances. You have a purpose, you have a talent, you have a gift, you have an obligation to live that, because people need you. People need your gifts. They need your talents. They need you to shine your light, because you're going to influence other people when you're being who you truly are. Because we all want to be who we truly are, but it's very scary. It's very scary to show our gifts and show our talents, because it hurts people's feelings. That's the honest to goodness truth. It intimidates people, right? Some people get intimidated by a strong, athletic, confident, and competent female. And I've had to navigate that my whole entire life, because I haven't had people that are better than me surrounding me.
Mhm.
And so most of my life, I've been the competent, athletic, strong female in a room. And that has been challenging. But I had to understand now, over many years, 52 years old, that as long as I am confident in myself and in my being and who I am, I don't have to worry about what anyone else I think is thinking about me. Because that's the other thing. I'm putting my thoughts into their brain, and it's probably sometimes not even happening.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
It absolutely does. It's humans have this funny thing where we like to pretend that we can read minds and other people can read minds. And yeah,
Right.
fun fact, we can. Yeah.
Right.
Like, weird. Oh, I think that's fantastic. So where I had a question, but it just went away. It was a good one, but I guess that's not gonna happen then. But where do you find oh, right, I had a point. I think the thing that people are also fearful of, or not fearful of, but when they see a friend of theirs, for example, trying to become their better selves, they're just working on themselves, just like little by little each day, not like huge, like crazy changes in the person, but like over time, little by little. I find that something else that's pretty common is when a friend is developing themselves. Some people do not like that, because then they become more self-aware of the life that they're living.
Right.
So it's harder to find a support system in that kind of realm sometimes, where people just don't would rather pull them down than go forward. Go ahead.
I had a client last year, and she wanted to lose about 40 pounds, and she was doing amazing work, coming in person with me. with her nutrition and her exercise program. And she had come in and told me that her sister said, you know, if you lose all this weight, you're going to get all that loose skin. And I just wanted to sit down and cry, because that is just the reason why women get stuck in their weight loss. It's not just physical, it's an emotional thing, because now her family, her own sister, thinks that if her sister loses weight, she's going to lose a sister. She might actually is thinking that she might lose a sister to go out to have the drinks, the parties, the pizza, the donuts, the Dunkin' Donuts stops. So she's going to try everything in her power to stop that. And by saying mean things like, oh, if you lose weight, you're going to get loose skin and look terrible. You know, but what dawned on me was that she came in and showed me a picture of her family. She had like 3 siblings, all completely overweight. So they weren't anywhere near in the self-help. You know, they didn't want to help themselves, but my client did. And she made it to a certain point, and then she couldn't break the barrier. And I thought, and then she left. And I thought, well, that is just really challenging and really sad. Weight loss is just not about eating right and exercising. It comes with the family issues. It comes with the spouse. I hear a lot of women say, well, my husband thinks I'm just trying to get in shape because I'm looking for my next husband. Well, no, people, we just want to feel good and look good. That's all, you know? So it's interesting. And as much as I can help people and encourage them, again, it comes back to them. They have to be ready, committed, willing to do the work and put in the work. And it is emotional work as well. It's just not physical.
Okay. I got a question for that one, actually. So I think it's a cool one. So when we were talking earlier about solutions or support or that bluntness and the peopleness, let's say hypothetically, it's not going to happen. I'm not that crazy of a show where it's like, oh, look under your chair, the person's there. But if this lady came on right now and you had the opportunity to possibly not change her mind, but introduce a different perception or a piece of advice, a piece of experience, what would you want to say to her in this moment if she was like on that cusp?
Coming back?
Or just in general, I guess, what would be advice that you would give her now that you didn't at that time?
You have to live in your true power. There's just no way, because the true power is the truth, and you can't go up against the truth. And if you're not living in who you are, you're actually living a lie. And it's not about anyone else. It's about you. So you've got to get clear. You got to get clear on your vision, on your goal, and then you got to act. And that's really what it comes down to.
Fair enough. How do people find that clarity, that clearness?
My clients?
In general, if it was, well, I guess for your clients, yeah, go for it.
Depends on the person. You know, I got some women, if they start off really good, they're going to end up really good. But if they start off dragging their feet, they're going to drag their feet the whole time. And it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what I say. I mean, I have one woman right now, one female that, you know, I've been with her for over 2 months, and I'm telling you, she lies. She lies about her diet. She lies about what she's doing on the weekends. And it's just so silly. Why? You're just lying to yourself, not to me. You're hurting yourself, not me. Because she can't follow the plan. She feels guilty and then has to justify it with these crazy sentences that she brings into me when she's talking. And I know she's just not putting in the work. But a lot of the women do amazing because they're excited and they're disciplined, right? And dedicated. So discipline and dedication are massive. It's not about motivation. Motivation is not going to knock at your door. It's not going to ring your doorbell and say, all right, I'm here. It's not going to drop off like a package, like a UPS package, and you're going to open up and all of a sudden motivation arrives. It's not like that. You have to be dedicated, disciplined, and put the work in, and then you might get motivated. You think I get up at 3:30 every day. You think I'm motivated to get up 3:30? Oh, I want to go right back to bed. I got to be at the gym by 5, teaching classes by 5:30. It's because I practice the discipline muscles, and that's why I get disciplined and take the necessary action to become a better person every single day. I feel like I'm talking too much.
Nope, you're doing awesome. Yeah, you're not talking too much at all. I'm
So
enjoying
that is the
everything you're
approach
saying.
that I take with my clients, because I got to tell you guys, like, you got to do the work. If you want something amazing, you have to put in amazing work. If you're not working as hard as the gym is, your hard and as challenging as your plate is what the food, if it's not feeling challenging to you, it's not going to work. You got to put the work in. And that's the approach I take with my clients. And you have to be able to handle me because I am blunt, and because it's the truth. It's the truth. And I keep coming back to, and this is what I've learned, and it taken me a long time. I'm not going to change because this is who I am. I am truth. I will tell you the truth. If you want to get somewhere and I can get you somewhere, I'm going to tell you how to do it, but you got to do it. And if you don't, I'm going to tell you the reason why you're not here is because you're not doing the work.
Yeah, if you want 10x the output, you want to put 10x the input.
Exactly,
2 times the output,
yes.
2 times the input. It's just
Yes.
picking a number and then having clarity on it and then executing in accordance to that. And then making sure that your behaviors and what you say and what you think are in alignment so that you can make the most of the time given.
Exactly.
Nice. I think I had a pretty good summary of that one. That was good. That's amazing. So what I don't know. So what what's that desire come from? Where does that desire for truth come from?
Well, I'm going to go back to being bullied as a kid.
Fair.
Because it is the truth that it happened to me because I was a strong kid in elementary school. So we had, I'm 52 years old. I don't know I don't think they do this anymore. They had what was called the Presidential Physical Fitness Test. And so in gym class, they would test you for speed, for strength, and, running. So we had to do pull-ups, we had to do sit-ups, and then we had to sprint. Well, I was sprinted faster than the boys. I did 60 sit-ups in 60 seconds, which meant that I did a sit-up every second. So I was super fast. And then I beat the boys with pull-ups because at 10 years old, I did 15 pull-ups. Who does that? Most people can't even do that as grown-ups. But anyway, that got me in big trouble. Now, because the boys, I guess, were intimidated by me. So there was one boy who would take me in the back room, in the coat room, and beat me up. And he would literally shove the coats on my face. And I can remember because it was winter and those hefty, puffy coats we used to wear, to the point like I couldn't breathe. I knew I was suffocating, but nobody came to help me. The teacher's like, what are you guys doing out there? Get in your desk, so I would just get up and just go about my day. And then one day we were outside at recess and a boy gave me a whitewash. So if you don't know, if you didn't grow up in New England or where the snow was, a whitewash is when someone gets pushed down and they shove the snow on top of your face. So that's what a boy did to me, but he held me under the snow to the point where all of a sudden I just saw black. Everything went blank. So I know that is now I probably blacked out because he held me down so long. But nobody again came to help me. Nobody. But the truth of the matter was, and I think I had to learn this at a very young age, is that nobody is coming to save you. There's not going to be a savior for you. If you want something done, you have to put the work in. And the other thing I learned about that is that when you are who you truly are, because I was a 10-year-old, they asked me to do something and I did it and I happened to do it really well. People are always going to be jealous or want to kick you down or want to make you look bad because they're feeling insecure about themselves. And I've had to deal with this my whole entire life, but come to the terms like, this is who I am, that this is the truth. You know, I need to be strong because that's who I am. I can't have anyone telling me that, you know, I'm wrong or I'm bad because I'm strong, or I'm going to get beat up because I'm strong, or I'm going to intimidate somebody because I'm strong. It is who I am. And I had to learn the truth of who I am in order to live this life. And I learned at a very, very, very young age that was going to happen throughout my entire life. And that is sad, but it is true. And I think that I don't like lies. You know, I don't like when people lie. I don't lie. And it's another reason why, you know, I was given this amazing courage and amazing bravery and amazing voice that I use to speak out. So I have been on, I have spoken out on platforms. I'm very good at, you know, being on stage and speaking out about things that I won't mention here to the safety of your channel.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Right. So I have this amazing, big, brave, courageous voice. And I think I feel that because nobody came to save me when I was suffering as a 10-year-old. So a little part of me feels like, well, I need to save the world now. Now I need to go out there and use this big, brave voice before before somebody could die. Somebody could die if they don't hear what I have to say. So I was so adamant a few years ago to put my voice out there and speak the truth and get the truth out, because I need to help you. I need to be the savior. I need to be the hero. But through this process, I learned that, why do I feel like I'm the savior? How come I feel like I can be your hero? Because I can't be your hero. Just like the kid in the ER who didn't accept our help, even though we were saving his life. I can't help anybody. I can only help myself. And that's taken me many, many years to understand and to get to the point. So then I took a step back and said, all right, I'm not going to go on all these platforms. I'm not going to use my big voice anymore for now, until, you know, somebody could need me again. But because people are going to, every single individual on this, in this universe, is on their own journey. I can't come in and stop their journey and say, you're going the wrong way. No, go that way. It's their journey to learn what they need to learn within themselves. And I had to say to myself, do I trust their soul? Do I trust that? Yes, every person on this earth has a soul, and I trust their soul. They're going to have a learning journey. Maybe I'll be part of that, but I cannot stop them from their journey. And it's taken me a long time to get to that point. All I can do is be true to me. All I can do is put myself out there, and maybe somebody will take my knowledge and bring it into their life, right? But I'm not forcing anybody anymore to do something that could potentially harm them. Or I'm not forcing them to not do it, you know, because that's their journey. If they're going to do something that could potentially hurt them, I can just give information. That's all I can do. And then breathe. But I am not there to save the world. And you know, for a long time, I thought I was.
That is such good insight. That is absolutely fantastic insight. Something I kind of recognize is the highlights of, the highlights of your story. And it's cool how you learn the lessons, you vividly remember the lessons of when you've realized or when you recognize that no one's going to save you but you. And I also love how between that point and then the point of having your kiddo and saying, I don't want to be a hero anymore. And now you kind of like put those into an amalgamation together where you know when it's right to be either or. And I think what you're saying was absolutely fantastic. So some takeaways that I got from our conversation is it's a choice to downplay your truth. It's a choice to downplay potential. It's a choice to not practice gratitude. And you're responsible for only the self, and other people are responsible for themselves.
Right.
But you come in with a big heart, a kind soul, and a well intention to try to provide the opportunity for that person to change the trajectory in their life.
Wow, I feel like I'm at a therapy session. This is amazing. Really
It's just
good.
you're the one dropping all the knowledge bombs. I just tried to summarize it. So we're definitely not going to go any further than that. That was absolutely fantastic. And for the folks listening, that's what I got for you today's episode. Where can people find you, Erin?
I am at The Ethical Nurse on Instagram, but is at _ethical_nurse. And I'm also on Facebook on Erin McDermott, McDermott.
Beautiful. And if you loved today's episode, please do me a favor right now, share it on your Instagram stories, tag me with my handle at Warrior Body Kyle, along with at The Ethical Nurse with the underscores in between. That is one of the ways that we grow. And Erin, before we head on out, I got 2 final questions for you, and I didn't give you any heads up on it.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, here we go. But I think given what we chatted about today, I think you'll be all good. So the first one, it's a heavy one. You're at the end of your days, you're on your deathbed, and all the people you love is around you, and you have no content exists. This podcast doesn't exist. Although this would be a really good podcast as like a frame for your philosophy of the world. I think it was fantastic, and the philosophy of living. But anyways, you have one piece of advice you can give to all the people that are around you. What is that piece of advice?
If you refuse to accept anything but the very best, you very often get it.
Fire.
That's one of my favorite sayings.
That is
so true.
That is awesome. That is a really good one. Yeah. Damn. So the final question, how would you define living a limitless life? What does living a limitless life mean to you?
It is, again, I go back to being who you truly are, doing your life purpose, living your life purpose, and moving forward that with as fast as an intention as possible. Don't let your brain stop you because it's going to want to put you back in comfort. Be who you truly are as fast as possible every single day of your life, and don't let anyone stop you ever.
Erin, that is absolutely fantastic advice. I could not agree more. And for those of you listening, once again, tag us both on the Instagram stories. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment what some of your favorite takeaways are. And until next time, I hope your day treats you as good as you look.